Alright, so tonight we're going to review my first session of Stud high-low. Played 150 hands or something, small amount, one tabling. And we have like 6 hand reviews, so let's see if we did anything crazy or whatnot. Mainly just figure out ambiguous spots, as I'm a total newbie at this. So for the first hand, I was wondering about three-way equity for the low draw on 4th Street. So we're up here, we have a pretty good hand, so we bring it in for max, interestingly. Yeah, it makes sense, I guess. 3 really low cards. Okay, so we do calls, rainbow, call. So this is the spot. So this guy's betting here. We're 3 ways. And I guess I was wondering whether I should be raising here. So I guess we'll plug in his actual hand since we have it. And for this other guy, we'll just give him whatever, random hand, I guess. Doesn't matter too much, I don't think. At least for this very first hand of this game that I'm checking out. Actually, I guess we'll plug in the dead cards to King Diamond. Queen Diamond. Oh. 5 club guys actually playing. So, interestingly, we have 50% equity. So I'm guessing this is taking into account, yeah, so here it is. So wins high, wins low. So wins high, 180,000 out of, I don't like this. It's not showing me the individual percentages. So scoops, 137,000 times, wins 183,000. So this is in 600,000 trials. Scoops, wins high, 300,000. So half the time I either scoop or win half the pot with the high. More PLO, please. It's coming. But no, I mean, it's still just gonna be Monday nights for PLO. Pretty sure that's maybe what's happening. Just played a short session, 2 tabling, first time in a month or so. Nice. How'd it go? I have too many different games that I have to learn to focus on PLO much. PLO is not going to be a high priority until higher stakes, where it becomes relevant for playing live. So it's a long ways down the line, after all. So I mean, it's actually kind of 1 day a week is more than I should even be playing probably. But I'll stick with that for now, because Monday nights there's nothing running in mixed games anyway, so I'm going to be playing Monday night PLOs for the whole year, most likely. I think that's basically going to be my go-to thing, because Mondays during the day I'm busy, so it's perfect. Easy game, easy money, win a buy-in, nice. So, yeah, and then wins low, ties low. So it's not showing the wins, it's not showing the loses. What? I don't get this. How does this work? So it says 600,000 trials, but I have more than 600,000 trials here. I guess it means it's rounded, maybe. And like this guy, it's way more than 600,000. Scoops, wins. Maybe it's supposed to be maybe it's 1.2 million because there's a high and a low kind of thing. 310, 670. Looks like a bit more than 1.2 million, so that's probably what it is. So that's fine. So we're dividing out of 1.2 million, not 600,000. So So 310, so basically quarter of the time I either scoop or win the high, well plus the low. So half the time I either scoop or win high or win low. Win high or win low. It's not really telling me that much. But anyway, so the equity, at the end of the day, the equity is, I guess, is taking all that into account, so I don't need to worry about it too much. So effectively I have 49% total equity. So that's pretty amazing, 3 ways, so I should definitely be raising in that spot. Is the bottom line here. Bet call. I did not raise, or I did raise, nice, so I actually intuited it even then. Because yeah, it's kind of like playing stud high where you have a 4 flush. It's so good multi-way. This early in the hand. And he's showing a king. I mean, he even has ace reduced, but we're a card ahead of him on the low. This guy has, we're a card at least a card ahead of him on the low as well. And then on 5th Street, what did I want to see here? Playing for half the pot once again. So blanking basically. How does my equity change here? So 9 of spades. Or before I plug it in though, I want to see what I think. Like we're 2 cards ahead on the low on them at least. Well no, 1 card still. And we have 2 chances at getting a low card. And the high seems unlikely to be 1 by us. So I'd like to work this out manually first before I look. So dead cards, well first of all we need 2s, 5, 7s, 8s, 2, 5, 7, 8, 2, 5, 7s and 8s. So that on what we know, there's 2 dead cards out of 16. So it's 14 left. 14 left. Feeling slow tonight, but this, I mean, it is the first time I played this format, so it's going to be a bit confusing. So dead cards, there's 5, 8, 11, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So still 35 cards in the deck, of which 14 will give me half the pot. So 40% equity in half the pot, so I guess I have 20% equity here. Assuming I can never win the high, which is not true, but... So 20% equity, and my odds on 5th are... assuming this is correct, which it's probably off by a little bit, but anyways, so we're getting 40, 56, 64, so we're getting 8 to 1. Divided by 2, so basically we're getting 4 to 1 on 40% equity, so what's the best way to calculate that? So my full equity is 20%, and my actual odds is 8 to 1. So it's easy to call, I guess, especially with implied odds and stuff. And it checks to me here where we make the low, so surely it gets simple after this. Okay, so we did it right. Next hand, 10 of diamonds. 4th and 5th Street I'm wondering about. So we are up here with the bring in again, we'll bring it in for max. No, it can't be right, this is the wrong hand. Closed. Wait, what? It's the same? Maybe we just have almost exactly the same hand. Yeah, it's a different hand. So we bring it in for max again with 3 low cards. A lot of high cards, so pretty good spot here. 8 calls, ace folds, so we're heads up. We blank, he improves to with another low card. So I want to know what I'm supposed to do on 4th and 5th, basically. I mean, this is super ambiguous. But let's say for some reason this guy's playing 100% advance. Just to keep this simple. So when we, well, let's see before we blank how we're doing. I mean, it's irrelevant, never mind, because this is not even his true range or whatever. So very roughly against somebody who is playing way too loose, our equity on 4th when we blank would be, should be still pretty decent, I guess. Because he's just going to have, yeah, a lot of trash. So given that he's going to be playing tighter than that, we're behind it almost certainly. I mean, we're behind against a random range, so we are behind. So we should be checking and I guess calling effectively. So we bet here. I mean, we're probably not too far off from 50%, so C betting is probably okay though. Rather than check calling, which is very weak, and rather give them the chance to fold. Wait, what? Oh, this is 4th. It's not 4th. So yeah, I did do the wrong thing, I think, where I check called. I mean, it's the right thing from an equity perspective, but from a poker play perspective, it's surely wrong. Although he's pretty passive, if I remember right, so maybe it's fine because I could get a free card here sometimes. I don't know. In any case, we checked and he checked, and then we get a king and he gets a 3. So now we're for sure behind on the high. And we still need 2 more low cards, which is really bad. So I mean, it's a check fold basically, certainly, or a fold. But let's just see what the equity is against the random range. 25% equity. So we'd be getting roughly odds to call here, theoretically, against 100% range. But yeah. Oh, what? I called even? What? Why did I call here? Oh, I know why I called. Because I thought that my pair outs could be good a lot of the time here. And it looks like maybe I was close to correct. Problem is if he bets it, it's the problem is future bets too. But okay, so he bets again. Now we have a 4 low. Very complicated, much complicated. So like when he gets an ace here, he could have a low already, theoretically. He could have a better low draw than us, and he for sure has a better high at the moment, and could have a flush even at this point. So I'm pretty sure I folded at the time, but let's just see what he has as 100% range. I guess 100% range it'll be a call. Yeah. But I mean, he checked and then bet 5th, so his hand's going to be considerably stronger than a random range, not to mention that he's folding a whole bunch of stuff. And we're getting 5 to 1. So it's probably correct fold, taking that into account. I plugged in his actual range, if that was a possibility, which it's not with this tool. So just to recap here. Completed max, checked here when I probably should just bet. He checks, here he bets, I correctly call most likely, with implied odds and stuff. Although there may be reverse implied odds here. So this could possibly be a fold itself as well. Getting 3 to 1 and like 3 to 1 at best. So this probably, I mean, do I have implied odds against this player? Or reverse implied odds? Certainly I can make money on getting a low. If I get runner low though. So probably I could just fold here. Really bad odds. The worst odds you can get basically, almost. Alright. 4 diamonds on 4th. So here, I want to know what. 5th Street, low draw only, getting 2 and a bit to 1. So first of all, what happened on 3rd? Bring in, we raise with the good hand. Ace calls, bring in calls. Let's just see what if the pot's right here. Bring in, raise, so there's missing 2 cents. Call, call. So the pot is 2 cents short. Well, that might be rake. Maybe that's why this tool looks like it's doing things wrong, is that it takes the end of hand rake and subtracts it from the beginning. That doesn't really make sense though. But I mean, my notes... Yeah, okay, so it's... So 5th Street, we'll see in a second here. So 5th. $36. Yeah, it's just doing it wrong. So on 3rd Street, 4th Street, he donks into us with open aces, fold, and 4th Street I'm pretty sure is just a clear call, so I'm not going to look at that. And 5th Street he bets again. I mean, I don't think there's much to... Oh, because I think I only have a low draw basically, because I'm pretty dominated in the high. So basically my odds here were 18 to... well, let's plug it in. Let's use the tool instead of do my half-ass way. So clear this. What is he calling with? On average, Tolik. For this session, I'm just going to be plugging in random hands because it's going to simplify things. And dead cards. Could not generate any legal cards. What? What the fuck is the problem? 2 diamond, ace diamond, 6 club. Four diamond, jack heart. Correct. Ace club, ace heart, deuce spades. Correct. V heart, ace spades. Correct. King hearts. 5 diamond, queen spade, 10 club. This is fucking tedious. 10 club. 3 heart, jack diamond. Stud high low, generic. Simulate. Why? What's the problem? Could not generate any legal cards. What could that possibly mean? Okay, well if there's no dead cards, it works. Apparently maybe if you put too many dead cards. Looks like maybe the maximum of dead cards is 6. So you can only... Doesn't make sense. You can only put the other players in any case. So 35% equity, so we need 2 to 1. Need a bit less than 2 to 1, and we were getting a little bit more than 2 to 1, 18 to 8. 2 1/4 to 1, so we were getting odds, direct odds, it would appear. Okay, and then the next street. $60 bets again. 10 spades, 7 of diamonds. Getting 5 1/4 to 1, or we need 5 1/4 to 1 against the full range, so we need better than that, in fact. And we're getting 52 to 8. We're getting 6 1/2 to 1, so it's probably close. I guess as we get better, we'll be able to figure out these spots better, but it looks like it's close-ish, so whatever I do here is probably good enough for now. Okay, next hand. So I don't think we've done anything egregious yet. 3 clubs on 4th Street. So with bring in once again, this one we limped, I think a misclick or whatever, inattention. It gets raised, we could probably re-raise here honestly. But I elected to call. So this guy raised? Yeah. So we're short 2 cents in the pot. And I want to know if 4th Street is good to raise 3-way, for example. Right, so if I raise ISO and like one guy calls, is that good? Probably. So let's plug in the hands, the actual hands. Keep things as simple as possible once again. So 4 diamond. We'll still give people 100% ranges for the other ones, which is incorrect, but good enough. And there's 2 dead cards. So what is our equity here? This is our 6-way equity though, but our 6-way equity is amazing. But mainly there's me and this guy, basically the high and the low, and then everybody else is kind of screwed. Because we have 4 to low, this guy has 1 high card, 1 high card, 1 high card, so those 3 guys are basically drawing dead, and this guy is dominated by this guy. So I don't know how much we'll learn from this about three-way equity. I guess the answer is 3-way we would have more than 50%, or sorry, more than 33%, most likely. So raise is probably fine. We're basically splitting with this guy, and he has a high hand. We can even get a 5 for a straight too. 3 outs. So it looks like raise would have been fine. Let's see what we actually did. We did raise. So now okay, so that's why. So we can plug in this now and see what our actual 3-way equity is versus these hands. So yeah, we have more than our fair share, and this guy's kind of drawing deadish. Okay. So that's it for that hand. Next hand, towards the end. Gotta say, music's not really doing it for me. It's deep house bass mix. Let's find something better, more to my liking. Try this witch house mix and see. I tried witch house before, but it wasn't amazing for me. We'll see. So here, talking about 5th Street. So on 3rd, we raise first in, get 1 call. There's 2 cents missing in the pot. Checks to us. Oh, okay, well we check, and I didn't care about this situation, so we won't review the 4th Street. And then it checks to me on 5th now. The question was, oh I see, so first of all I bet, and then got check raised. So, should I be calling a check raise here? I don't know that much about the game, enough to know exactly what kind of hand he would be doing this with. I guess he knows, so let's back up. Yeah, so he knows he has the best low if he has a low. And he could be afraid of a flush with a high, so most likely basically he has the best low right now. I think. And in that case, he's probably happy to get in raises 3 ways, question mark, I believe. So yeah, it's almost, we'll just plug in a low hand for him and go from there. An unpaired low hand. So something, 4 heart, 8 spades, 8 spades. Does it matter all that much what we give him? I guess it does in the sense that 4s, no it doesn't, 4 doesn't matter. So, whatever. Let's give him 2 diamond, 3 diamonds, for example. Very roughly. And then dead cards. So, let's have a look. 3 diamonds is in 2 hands. Three clubs is in 2 hands. Clubs, spades, diamonds, hearts. Really? Right, because I guess we have high possibility against him. Interesting. So we're almost a coin flip. So it's an easy call. Right, because it's not possible for him to be dominating us in both the high and the low. Unless he had like a flush or a straight. So wheels are super strong, that's crazy. And flushes for sure as well. Because you can both get a low pretty easily and a flush. Whereas getting 2 pairs with lows and stuff like that is hard, full houses. So the call is easy, and then he bets here, so I mean, surely the call is going to be easy again. Although he's blocking one of our 4s. Yeah, so like now he basically has a speed on the high and the low. But are we getting the odds to call? I mean, a lot of these cards, just pairing could win the high. So it's for sure going to be good. This is way easier of a call than I imagined at the time. Because I didn't really realize that for him to be check raising there, he must have one, either the high or the low, can't really have both. And so we'll be drawing live on the other. Processing is real. Notice the drop frames are pretty low today, so that's good. What is taking so long with this thing? Certainly liking this better than the minimal tech now. So did this work? Looks like it did. So we're 3-1 dog. Getting 58 to 8. Like 7.5 to 1. So easy call. Wow, so we folded, okay. Massively overvalued. So what I probably was thinking was that I could be beat on the high and be drawing to, like he could be drawing to a better low than we are and have a better high, but still it's hard for him to have both of these things happening. And given the action, we know basically he just has a pair of fours for the high. Alright, I'm happy. So I think that was our first big mistake. And final hand here, 10 of diamonds on 4th. So here, it's 5th Street, and I can already tell what the answer is going to be, I think. So we bring it in, see a free 4th Street, goes check, 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 5th Street, we bet. Because we have 2 pair. Nobody could have better than 4 to a low, and in fact only this guy could. This guy raises. I see what's happening, yeah, that's the problem. So he checked 4th, but I mean that's not unusual for passive players with a 4 flush. But basically, whether if this guy's passive, then he could have the flush. If he's aggressive, then he could be raising with a 4 flush now. Just gonna waitlist the tables here, so we can jump right into PLO after. But yeah, so bet raise. I guess this is totally player dependent. We only have 2 to a low, so we can't actually even get a low. So this is a brutal spot, in fact, and it's a small pot. So I think, unless the guy's like a maniac or something, or like for sure just on a 4 flush, it's gonna be a fold. I mean, clearly it's a fold if he's got a flush. So let's just plug in a 4 flush. See how that looks. So a random card doesn't really matter. And dead cards. So we had more dead cards than the time that it bugged out earlier. Okay, so what? How do we have more equity? Oh, it gets a 4 flush, right? So basically, if he has a flush, it's a fold. If he has a 4 flush, we're actually ahead on equity with our, of course, 2 pair, which makes sense. And he could have a backdoor low draw, basically, as well. So it's entirely player dependent, and I probably folded, and it's probably because it was a player that I respected. The fact that he raised most likely mean he had a flush. It's such a small pot too, right? I'm getting 2, 3, 4, 5 to 1. We're fighting over a small pot, at least initially. Alright, so that's going to be it for the reviews. I'm going to switch over to PokerStars. I'm going to play some PLO, 4 tables eventually. It's going to take a bit of time for me to switch over with the delay, especially. You'll see that. But basically, I'll be back in about 10 minutes after delay. Thanks for watching.